Greetings, fellow birders. Welcome to part 2 of my Benton County birding adventure. The birds featured here are part of my Benton County Big Day, in which I saw 69 species. And the best part about birding here was that there were no mosquitoes. Roll the clips. I'm at my second birding location of the day, Edna Shane Fen and Wildlife Area. This is a stark contrast to the first area I was at today, as there are very few trees here. This is a prairie and a wetland area. Should get a nice diversity of species. Already had some bobolinks fly over, but my main target is a Nelson sparrow that was seen a few days ago. Let's see what we can find. The first bird that I recorded here was this curious common yellowthroat. This immature bird looked nothing like an adult. A mowed path around the wetlands at Edna Shane Fen doubled as a walking trail for me, and a place to feed for these shy savanna sparrows. Although they didn't let me get very close, the yellow supercilia, or eyebrows, on these birds are a classic trait of this species. Since I was wearing my knee-high boots, I decided to wade out into one of the wetlands and see what birds I could find. And, oh boy, I was not disappointed. A marsh wren investigated me as I navigated through the reeds that extended well above my head. This acrobatic bird is an expert at navigating the dense surroundings of this wetland, and it doubtlessly found my awkwardness in this habitat to be amusing. As I approached the main pool of the wetland, I spotted a bird scanning below the water's surface in search of tasty treats like frogs or crayfish. The bird popped its head back up, and I was delighted to see a pied-billed grebe. Now, I've had hundreds of encounters with pied-billed grebes, so I know from experience that these water birds are very shy. Anytime I've been lucky enough to get close enough for a good photo, a pied-billed grebe will dive underwater until it gets far enough that it feels safe once again. This time, I wasn't taking any chances. I remained obstructed by the cover of the reeds. This way, I could still film the pied-billed grebe, but it would have a hard time detecting me. Or so I thought. This clever bird seemed to discover me shortly after I began filming, but what happened next absolutely shocked me. Before I knew it, the pied-billed grebe was making a beeline right for my position, zigzagging back and forth in the water as it rapidly approached. I was baffled by this behavior, but I remained frozen and continued to film. Before I knew it, this magnificent pied-billed grebe was no more than 12 feet away. Ever curious, it swam back and forth right in front of me as it tried to decide if the towering intruder with a camera posed any threat. This bird soon let out an adorable chirping sound. I hadn't ever heard a pied-billed grebe make this sound before, but I assume it meant that this fella had correctly determined that I was harmless as it continued to lounge right in front of me. At one point, a tasty tadpole surfaced behind my new friend, but it didn't bat an eye at the delicious morsel that swam below. I was fortunate enough to spend a memorable 10 minutes with this wonderful pied-billed grebe. I got photos and videos that I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams, and after I'd photographed this bird to my heart's content, I lowered my camera and simply admired the tiny grebe right in front of me. Although they are not the most conventionally beautiful birds, I nonetheless found myself appreciating the feathers of this pied-billed grebe. Numerous droplets of water had accumulated on its feathers from a previous dive underwater. Yet the specially adapted feathers of this bird prevented the water from ever reaching its skin. As the pied-billed grebe began to drift back toward the middle of the pool, I slowly retreated from the scene, feeling immensely grateful for the moments I just shared with this terrific bird. I waded into the reeds around one of the wetlands here, and I got the best looks I've ever gotten at a pied-billed grebe. I got some tremendous photos and footage. I was no more than 10 feet away from the bird and actually came over and investigated me. It was an incredible encounter, and I won't soon forget it. I got back onto the mowed trail and continued walking around the wetlands. I flushed a sparrow that soon perched on a nearby wild bergamot plant. I raised my binoculars, hoping to finally find the elusive Nelson sparrow I sought. Alas, this was merely another savanna sparrow. I then came upon several olive-colored songbirds that were larger than the many savanna sparrows I had flushed. Aha, these were the bobolinks that I first detected when I arrived here. Although male bobolinks look dazzling when wearing their black, white, and cream-colored breeding feathers, they are much more subdued in the non-breeding season, adopting a plumage that looks exactly the same as lady bobolinks. A sizable group of bobolinks was present here at Edna Shane Fen. It was difficult to get a precise count, with small groups scattered about and often taking flight, but there were at least 23 of these blackbirds present. I set up my tripod and took advantage of the abundance of bobolinks present here. Although the wind made it difficult to get perfectly still footage, it's always rewarding when birds are cooperative enough to allow me to record videos of them with my tripod. I enjoyed watching one bird devour seeds from a foxtail plant. Although foxtail is an invasive weed, this bobolink nevertheless seemed to relish in the opportunity to chow down on foxtail seeds. Another bobolink perched on a nearby sawtooth sunflower plant. It soon turned its back to me, revealing the gorgeous plumage and stripes that adorn the feathers on its back. This bobolink was very attentive, nervously flicking its tail while scanning the skies and looking out for danger below. I was amused when it did a double take, as a bee got a little too close for comfort when it flew below this blackbird. I just finished up at Edna Shane Fen and Wildlife Area. It wasn't a very speciose place. I only got 15 bird species, but I got 3 new Benton County lifers, marsh wren, pied-billed grebe, and swamp sparrow. Overall, it was a really cool place and it had some fantastic photo opportunities. I spent almost 2 hours here simply enjoying the birds, taking videos of them, and getting some pictures. I had a blast. That's going to be a wrap for this worldwide birder journey. I would love to know, what was your favorite bird from this episode? So many stellar birds to choose from. Let me know your answer down in the comments below. This is Connor from Worldwide Birder, and I will catch you on my next birding adventure.